And I'm wearing the same clothes.
Oh, good evening and happy Thanksgiving to one and all. Thank you for joining us tonight on this Halloween.
Halloween!
Oh my God.
We're back last month.
Oh my God.
Well, we do love Halloween.
Yes. Thank you for joining us. We do love Halloween.
We do.
For this Thanksgiving special that we're doing. Last week I said, Tony, if you want, we can skip the Thanksgiving show, and because it's Thanksgiving. And he's like, oh no, let's do it. So we're going to be bringing our producer Tony Rathman in to join us in a little bit, but we're together as family and friends today, and my very special guest is my dog.
My dog is good. And I've been feeding her treats like all week.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And she's like so protective that she'll rip her head off,
my hand off
and
now.
spit it down her neck because she's coming near me. Just slightly protective puppy. Yeah. But all right, you can be a good girl now. Be very pleasant. Thank you.
Just remember who gave you turkey today.
That's right. Who gave you turkey today? Auntie Terri did. Yeah. So we're together. Obviously, we're together for Thanksgiving, and we wanted to share this special presentation with you tonight. And Dad and I usually travel together when we travel and do events, and he keeps telling me I miss everyone. And I was like, well, take a number and get in line. I miss them more. So I wanted to bring him in this evening to have a chance before Terri and I start mixing it up here with the pop, to say hi to all of our friends. And we got, oh my God, the messages between his phone and my phone and Terri's phone today. Our phones must have pinged
ding
like 1,000 times today. And
yours was insane.
Yeah, mine was insane. Mm-hmm. And well, you don't even know how what it means to us to know that so many people were thinking about us and our family today in the midst of their own celebration and their own gatherings, and most of which I'm assuming were rather small, but it means a lot to us. So we'd like to take this time to say a special hello to some of our dear friends that we would normally see. Faye Nelson Yoki is one of them. We heard from Faye today, and Michelle and Mark Mutzel, and Lynn Ann Bowling and her husband Jeff and their whole family, and Jolene, and my God, the list it's endless. I mean, I would have to Tracy and Susan, Todd,
and Chip Coffee.
Reached out, and I sent a really inappropriate message to John Zaffis.
And I told him that I was with his Buttercup.
Yes,
so
that's right.
He heard from
that's
both.
Right. So he heard from both of us.
Oh, and Steve DeChave.
And George and Pop, You know, Ken.
Oh, Brian Cano.
Ken DaCosta, Brian Cano. Yep. Just so many. I mean, when we think about the people that we know in the paranormal field and how much light and joy they bring into our lives, and missing them all so much, it's hard, and yet, you know, we're so grateful that we know there will come a time when we get together again. Ooh. So who?
Maria and Bob. Oh my God.
Maria and Bob. Yep.
Like, oh my God.
Schmidt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our phones literally ping, 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 ping all day long. Why don't you say hello to our friend's dad?
Well, whoever you are, wherever you are, hi. It's nice to see you all again, I think, but I can't see you.
We can virtually.
But we can feel your ghost hugs.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
We can feel it.
Let's see. Yeah, I can feel it.
Can you feel it now?
Oh, yeah, I can feel it. Oh, God.
Right. Good.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's
been a long time since we went and met with everybody, hasn't it?
Yeah, too long. Yeah. And we have to be patient, not your strong suit.
Mine either. Just saying.
And Miss Yoki I hadn't heard from since my birthday.
Yeah.
And that's several months.
Yeah.
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 She is a sweetheart, let me tell you.
Yep. And Julie, we heard from Julie Kapler today, and Julie Griffin today, and the list goes on and on. I would literally have to get my phone and start scrolling through names, and you would have to do the same.
And that would take the whole hour, because you showed me the list.
I know, it's nuts, huh?
It is insane.
But, you know, the thing is, the gratitude that we feel, the friendships, the real friendships that we have made over all of these years, being in this field and traveling to different events, and it's been truly heart touching. And they say absence makes the heart grow fonder, and I think that is a truism. So for all of you out there, who many of whom, you know, suffered not being able to be with your whole entire extended family this year, and hopeful that next year will be the year when we can come together in greater numbers. We just wanted to take this opportunity to tell all of you that you are loved, and that we want you to stay safe and be well, and that we will get through this. We will get through this. So there's that. Anything else that you want to add?
Got this little puppy over here that keeps wanting to come into my lap.
Well, take her. Because, oh my God, she's on my last raw nerve. No, I'm kidding. Here, kiss your baby. Kiss your baby.
Well, she had a great Thanksgiving.
She did. So. She had a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you can all see her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is. We're grateful for Buttercup, Princess Peanut Buttercup.
Yes.
Honest to God, the last thing in the world that I thought that I wanted or needed was another dog after losing Gracie Pearl. I didn't want to ever suffer a loss like that again. I didn't want to be that sad. And the universe said, no, you need a dog. And so in January, when I rescued her, and I called my father, I was up in Georgia, and I called Dad, and I said, okay, we have two options here. Either I have to stay up here in Georgia forever, or I have to bring a dog home. And he's like, pack her up and bring her home. So she has been, yes, good choice.
Good choice.
Another woman in the house. So what are you going
to do? Well, you got all your girls around you tonight. I don't know what you're bitching about, you know.
You got it good.
Yeah,
right. I got 3 women.
Yeah.
All my life I've been surrounded with women.
Yes, you have.
Oh, yeah, you could do worse.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And and the nice thing is, too, all of us were today on the phone, you know, calling my sisters Christine and Cindy and Nancy, and my mother, who apparently by all reports ate extraordinarily well today. And considering she's a little on the scrawny side, I was happy to hear that. So that was it. We just wanted to, before we even leap into the subject matter of this show, we wanted to take an opportunity to reach out and virtually ghost hug all of you. And no, it's something, it's like the freaking virus. It's invisible, but it doesn't mean it's not there.
But it's really there.
Can you feel it though?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, especially if it gets in your lungs and rips you to shreds. So yeah, it's like it's a ghost hug. Is
that what she's doing to me right now?
No, she's really actually physically hugging you.
Okay.
She loves her grandpa. So, okay, you want to take the dinky dog and let Terri have your seat, and we'll just launch into.
You're trying to make a gentleman out of me?
No, nobody would waste their time, Dad. Really, we know.
There's more dessert in the fridge.
There's more dessert in the fridge.
Oh boy! Nice seeing you all again. It's dessert time.
It's dessert time.
For the
Don't
third
give the
time?
dog ice cream. Don't give the
chocolate.
dog ice cream or chocolate.
No, I'm going to give you the dog.
Okay.
Oh.
No, take the dog with you. She'll come back when she's ready.
Bye, Diddy.
Okay. All right, you hold the dog. Okay, no, I'll hold the
it's
dog.
going to. she's going
Okay,
to
sorry, we're a little discombobulated tonight. You can probably tell.
I'm just going to get back to my favorite spot that she likes.
Okay,
when
she
I
likes
scratch her.
that. Yes, she does. So a lot of you know my friend Terri. We've known each other for 7 or 8 years
like
now,
that.
at least that. Yeah. And I think the first time that we ever met was, you have to sit closer so that you don't look like a pixie.
Okay, I don't want to look like a pixie there. Hi.
I mean, you really are a pixie.
The first time that we met, I will never forget. Well, we met, but then later in the evening, we had this moment of connection, and we were at Maria and Bob's at Seven Sisters, and we were upstairs in the other building investigating, and actually something had just happened that was a little upsetting.
So weird.
Right? Okay.
That was more haunted than the other.
Way more haunted.
Yeah, it
way
was.
more haunted. And
she's an awesome investigator, by the way. No, really, no kidding.
Thank you. And I will never forget that my first, I would call it an energy connection with you, was when we had that incident occur and you needed to take care of that person. And I got up and I was coming over to where you were, and we kind of did one of these where we, went right, and you just went, "Oh, you're very protected." And it was like, you looked into my eyes and I was like, "Oh, she's like my people. She's, yeah." And I just knew from that moment, that that was it. We were friends, and
thick as thieves, thick as thieves ever since. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm here for Thanksgiving, so it's insane. And the funny thing is, I have grandchildren. I have a son. They're elsewhere doing festivities with others. And last week, I really had no idea what I was going to do for Thanksgiving. I really hadn't thought much about the actual day of Thanksgiving. And it was so funny. We were chatting and I said, "Are you going up to Georgia to be with your mom, or are you staying in Florida?" You didn't even answer my question. You just said, "Come here." I was just like, okay. I was like, how did she? Okay. And so here I am. And then you said, "Don't just come for one day, because that wouldn't be good."
No, that wouldn't be good.
Wouldn't be good.
No. Well, because we had some catching up to do.
We did.
And I don't think that we'd seen each other.
Because
Tracy,
of all this,
Tracy came with you, and I think February.
Yes, right before COVID.
Just before COVID.
Right before COVID hit.
And then, we've all been hunkered down ever since. And she gets, I have no qualms or anything. She's a teacher in a library and has to make sure that she's COVID free all the time.
I do.
And I know that I am. So
it's we go through a lot at school, every day, temperatures. And
I know. And it isn't it wonderful though to be able to be together. Tracy Todd just popped up. Tracy and Susan, aren't they beautiful?
They're such a beautiful couple.
We love you guys. We
do.
talked
We
to you,
miss you
your
so
ears
much.
must have been ringing
They
today
must have
because
been.
honestly,
We have
you know,
new
blah, blah,
adventures.
blah.
We need.
Yeah,
to have.
we do actually have
Yeah.
new adventures to have. Yes, them ears must have been ringing today because
I
were.
think so.
They were on the menu too.
They were totally on the menu. Yes, we were like, oh my gosh, because we have so much fun when we're all together.
Oh my God, yes, we do, absolutely.
It's crazy.
So you know what we were talking about today, and Tony, God love you. Feel free to pop in whenever you have a comment or whatever. You know, very shortly we're going to invite you in as well because I want you to be able to express your feelings about Tony Rathman, our producer and friend, dear friend. You know, I want him to be able to share his Thanksgiving experience in the year of our Lord 2020, where everything is different.
Yeah.
We get up this morning and we watch the Macy's parade.
Yeah,
and
because we are both
there,
fans of the Macy's parade. I mean, we grew up with Macy's.
And we grew up with it, and we've never not seen it.
Exactly.
Can't remember, you know,
a year without Macy's.
A year away. And it was like about 8:45, and we were sitting there talking and drinking our coffee and saying, how weird is this going to be? How are they going to deal with this? What are they going to do, you know, to compensate? And, you know, it was literally one of the largest gatherings in the country that had to be completely reimagined in order to be, you know, to go off successfully. And I thought they did a spectacular job.
And it made us feel like, we even made that comment, that we felt like for the first time in however many months that we were getting to see a little piece of New York again, a little piece of Broadway, a little piece of
Herald Square,
what we've
and
missed.
Macy's, and Believe. You know, I mean, it's such a wonderful event, and it brings so many people together every year. And this year it was the most inclusive that it has ever been. And yet it looks like about 80% of or more of the parade route was wiped out. And 80% of the bands or more was gone.
Right,
and
they couldn't come.
You know,
none of the school bands could travel anymore.
You know, so it was really scaled down, and a lot. You know, I hope everybody got to see it.
But Santa still came.
And you know, but it had the Gay Pride marching group, and they had a whole American Indians doing their native prayers from the Wampanoag tribe that is all up and down the eastern seaboard. So I'm very familiar with the Wampanoags because, of course, they were in the area where I grew up and where you grew up. Where I grew up,
we're both northern girls.
It was like, wow, how wonderful that they got included in this, that they brought in groups that were local to New York and also local to southern New England and, you know, the mid-Atlantic states, people that could come in, hi, Katie, people that could come in, you know, buses or cars to get there in a safer way. I thought the Rockettes were
I was just going to say that.
They were. You know, no leg action this year. They were like little statues. They were just
their masks
perfect, and everybody's masks
their costume
matched their costumes, and it was, you know, we've had to reinvent ourselves. We've had to reimagine football and all the other sports. We've had to reimagine our national parade. We've had to reimagine life as we know it.
Absolutely.
And as I've said many times, this is the paradigm shift. It's not going to ever be the same
like it was.
No, it's not. And so we've had to reinvent ourselves as a society. And I know that there were many empty seats at tables this year. And we know how that feels.
Yes.
Both of us
We know a lot how that feels.
So why don't you share a little of your contact, you know, what you're willing to share.
Okay. People know me. I share anything. I don't care. Ask me anything. So when we first met, I was in a relationship. My late boyfriend and I were together for almost 10 years. And he became a super important part of the paranormal field.
and my life and
Tracy's
Tracy's
life
and
Tracy's life
and
actually everybody's life that he touched. For those of you watching that knew him, it's like you couldn't go to a conference or an event or an investigation that he was at and not know that he was there.
Yes.
Because if he wasn't paying for your dinner, which he probably was, because that's what he would do to like make people happy. He was up like talking to you about, like, he would tell Johnny Zaffis, like, you need to be careful with your heart. Now tell me how your heart's going. And then he died of a heart attack. I mean, it was crazy. But yeah, so he was with me for 10 years. And then he passed away 2.5 years ago of a heart attack. Yes, Cody. He was a great guy.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
to all
Thanksgiving.
of you.
We miss our family up there. And so, yeah, it's been 2.5 years. And that was really weird because for like a decade, you live with somebody, work with somebody, spend your life, wrapped up in theirs. Okay. And then you don't have it anymore. So.
And you were with them. Yeah.
And then prior, which some people probably don't know, because he was the one that was involved in this crazy world that we exist in together. Mm-hmm. But prior to him being in my life, I was married, and my late husband, he passed away from cancer. So I kind of got to experience 2 different types of death because, I cared for my mom when she died of cancer, and I cared for my late husband for 14 months when he died of metastatic melanoma. But then when Ken died, I mean, there isn't one person that wasn't completely shocked by that
and
happening.
Devastated by the loss of Doc.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even, like, when we were talking about our phones going off today, thank you, Trace. Yeah, he was a great guy. And I mean, there's just, the funny thing is like, I think about this often. Like, obviously, we've even talked that there's probably people out there that for some crazy reason may not adore us. I mean, I don't know why, but
like, those chicks are nuts.
They're crazy. Okay. So there might be people that maybe don't sometimes think we're awesome, but I don't know of one person that didn't think Doc was awesome. And what an amazing,
loved him.
What an amazing legacy to like leave, that everybody thought you were awesome. And I remember when, I mean, it was a very sudden passing. He had been sick like the week prior, but he had all the surgeries and done all the right things and taken the medications, even though he was a horrible patient, great doctor, horrible patient. But then he had gone home from the hospital. We had done all the follow-up appointments, and every single doctor had said, everything looks great. You're going to be fine. And, a day later, literally a day after we finished all of the follow-up appointments, he just woke up and said, I feel kind of nauseous. And I put him right back in the car and took him to the hospital. And, we were about a block from the hospital when he said, hurry. And that's when I knew it was bad. But I still thought, I'm getting him to the hospital. They're going to fix him. And it didn't work out that way. And he actually coded in the hospital. And when I started, like, I think it was even Tracy maybe, because I was a hot mess. That was like a death, totally unexpected. Nothing like what I had dealt with really as an adult. As a child when my father died, yes, but not as an adult. And I think Tracy actually put it on Facebook that afternoon, a beautiful little tribute. And I cannot tell you, well, yes, I can, because the family. The paranormal family was
the
unbelievable.
Outreach was
unbelievable.
Our community of people worldwide are the kindest, most generous of spirit. I mean, most loving, giving.
I couldn't believe we had people
amazing
dedicating their radio shows to him for the next couple of weeks. George did a big thing on his show. Dave Spinks dedicated one of his books to Doc because he meant so much to him. And I mean, I was so overwhelmed. And so if there was ever any of you that I somehow didn't manage to thank over the last 2.5 years, thank you. Because I know that would have meant like a lot to him. And he's still with us. I mean, he's our angel investigator now. He
is.
Yeah.
Terri has had a number of visitations from Doc.
Well, actually, Maria gets most of them. So I kind of yell at her all the time. I'm like, "What is this with you and Doc? Like,
what's going on?
What's going on here?" Because like she talks to him pretty much on the daily, and I'm like, "Hey, hello." But yeah, it's been getting better. I'm getting a little more contact now. We had some good contact at the May Stringer house when
and you had an EVP.
Oh,
where
we
you asked
did.
Him,
oh my goodness.
You asked him a point blank question.
No, I think it was Maria asked him a stupid point blank. Yeah,
she
said like,
I hope she's watching.
Oh my God, I hope she is too, because if not, she needs to watch on the repeat or whatever. But
archive baby.
She was and I have the EVP. So does Tracy. We have it. So does Maria. But she said, is there anything you want to say to Terri? This was probably a year ago, summer. We spent the summer with her and Bob. And she was like, what? And she's like, are you saying you want her to get married? And I laugh and I go, you want me to get married? And on the EVP, right after my laugh and my silly comment, you hear him
voice.
Yeah, I want you to get married. It was crazy. I'm not married though. I mean, I haven't gotten to that yet, but
because you have to find the right person first. Yeah, but
you have to find somebody that can, embrace the whole.
Yeah. It has to be somebody. I think it has to be somebody in the field.
Yeah, I know.
Because I mean, when you're as weird as we are, you've got to have an equally weird weirdo to be able to relate to. And that was the thing that was really most special about Doc is there's nothing you couldn't say to him that he wouldn't get.
He got everything. And he embraced so much of the spirit world because he had so many experiences when he was younger. And growing up, and they weren't experiences that he felt he could share with like his family. And so he kind of kept them inside. And then when he became an ER physician, and Maria will tell you about this, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in there. And he used to say that when patients would pass, he could feel their soul leave their body. And when he would treat patients at the clinic, it was the most crazy, unique thing because he would just look at you and you didn't really even have to tell him what was wrong with you. And he'd listen to your heart and your blood pressure. And all of a sudden out of the blue, he'd say, well, Annie, I think you should get a CT of your abdomen and pelvis. And you'd go, I'm not having problems with my abdomen and pelvis. And he'd just go get that done.
Mm-hmm.
And he just saved so many lives because he found problems that people didn't even know they had.
Well, he intuited.
He was so intuitive.
He embraced me one time. I don't even remember. I think it was at the May Stringer house. And he just looked at me and he said, you're not getting enough sleep. You're too fatigued. It's taking a toll. And I thought, well, what am I, does it really show? And he said, no, it doesn't. Not yet.
He could feel it.
But he could feel it. And
that's what he used to say all the time. People would say, how do you know what you know? And he'd say, I don't know. I just do.
I just do.
And
he was so gifted in so many ways.
Yeah.
And, we know that there are people out there that if not watching this broadcast live, will discover it later for whatever reason, often because there's something that gets said that they need to hear.
Yes, 100%.
But because of our extensive background in, well, really all things paranormal.
Which is anything not normal.
Right. Anything
which is us. Yeah. Okay.
Ethereal in nature. I think it's important to validate those that have lost loved ones and that are particularly this year suffering through profound loss.
Well, and I lost someone from COVID this year. So, while we're dealing with all this, and I sometimes people think because of the way I am and my energy and my Tiggerness or whatever it is,
you're Tigger and I'm Eeyore.
And you know how
I'm happy being depressed.
And and people look at that and they don't always know how to take me or take that. And they see it sometimes as I don't take it seriously. It's not that I don't take it seriously. It's not that at all. It's that I have, just like you, I have suffered a lot of loss in my life. And the one thing that's taught me is you do not take for granted one day, not one day. And you do whatever you can to make that day like super special and the best that it can be. So it is certainly not that I don't take it seriously. I do. But I am also not going to stop living because of this horrible disease.
Well, we were talking about it today and we said, COVID's like a ghost.
It is.
It's just because it's invisible and just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Right. It's totally there. And, I lost a friend of mine that had actually helped me through losing Doc, a friend of both of ours. And he had been in my life for over 20 years. And, he did have some pre-existing conditions. It wasn't just COVID.
Well, it's the comorbidities that will get you with this. If there's anything that's weakened your immune system or, there's just so many people right now on this particular holiday that want to feel the presence of their loved ones past and so many do. And, what we want to do is to assure you that they're still with you.
They are still there.
No, I smelled a whiff of April's Old Lady Gardenia perfume today. And she's like, "Oh, food." April was not shy around food, especially in Thanksgiving was her favorite holiday. Well, Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter.
Right.
But
she was a holiday person.
She was a holiday person.
Right.
But after the parade went off, the dog show came on, and
which you said
this one,
oh my god,
this one was transfixed by all the pretty dogs.
Doesn't think that she's a dog,
and then she just looks at them as some kind of weird, a four-legged anomaly because she doesn't consider herself one of them, but they are fascinating to watch. And what did I tell her all through the dog show? I don't care how pretty they are. You are
that's right.
The most beautiful dog on the whole entire planet.
Yes.
And then today I got a message from one of my friends who said, well, I got a dog sweater for
it has an owl on it.
And it has an owl on it. My friend Lindsay. And she said, but it appears that Buttercup has gained some weight. I said, are you making disparaging comments about my dog's weight? A little. But they can't see that on the camera.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
And I'm not
going to hold up her belly?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not. I have to protect her privacy and her private parts. We can't have that. Okay. It's not that kind of show, Terri.
We won't show them, Buttercup.
But April would every year come for Thanksgiving, and she always made sure that by the time she got to the house that most everything was cooked, because then there was no need for her to help. And then perfect timing. Wow. And then she would just,
I'll be there in a minute.
Yeah. And then she would come and pick, and Mom would slap her hand and say, get out of the turkey, get away from the ham, get away. And then she would go plop herself on the sofa and watch the dog show. And while we're in the kitchen sweating bullets and trying to clean up and prepare for, this massive feast, she's in the parlor screaming, the Skipper keys are on, the Great Pyrenees is on, which were our dogs. All the different kinds of dogs that we had. And the Cairn Terrier is on because we had Coco.
Oh, I had one too. I had one of those
too. Oh my God, I know. And, and we're like, shut up in there already. We're in here working. And she lived for the dog show. So
and we all watched it today.
And so what we were talking about was when you reminisce about someone that you love. Yeah. And you can literally feel their presence. There will be a time. I never thought there would be a time that I wouldn't cry.
I know.
When I spoke about April. And I know you felt the same way. And now today we celebrated Doc and we celebrate April and our families and our friends. And we just, there's such a shred of space-time continuum between this realm and the next.
And it's getting thinner and thinner.
It is. Yeah. And, it's, I want to encourage, even if it's painful.
Right.
I want to encourage people to go ahead and reminisce.
Yeah.
It's okay. And even if it makes you cry, it's okay. Tracy, you're sick. My mother does not beat us with a wooden spoon.
That was her dad. No, I'm just kidding. No. And Tracy, please keep your sick humor coming, because that's all that gets me through on Facebook sometimes. Like, I just go to your page sometimes just to read that post because he's insane. Oh my God.
I posted your twisted cartoon today on Buttercup Brigade. Anybody that wants to know how twisted this chick is, just go over to my fan page, my Buttercup Brigade page. Oh, that was grotesque. Are you kidding me? I mean, it was so bad I had to share it.
You said, oh my God, send me that.
I did. I did say that. Yeah, well, cause the dog's asleep on my
I see that.
breast.
Yes.
Oh my God. So anyway, Tony, why don't you hop in with us, because we need some guidance and support here.
We need some man blood here.
Hello, Andrea. Hello, Terri. How you doing?
Hi.
There's, like you said, with everything that's been happening with COVID and just the changes it's made, not only on individual lives, but on the lives of everyone worldwide. There's nothing that I can think of to be more thankful for, to be able to share this day with both of you. And I saw Roger on before, and it's just something that really stands out. And so I thank you for that, and thank you for getting an opportunity to just say thank you for that. And I greatly appreciate it.
Well, thanks. This show wouldn't exist if it weren't for you, Mr. Rathman. It wouldn't, because I'm a techno idiot. I don't know what I'm doing. I barely know how to turn my computer on. I have to pray to it that it won't short circuit when I touch it before I even open the thing. So no, I'm really a techno idiot.
Yes, I know, but you know how to take a picture of the phone, right?
I do. Well, it's more than we can say for my father, isn't it? I'm very thankful for you, Tony. I'm thankful for you and your whole family, that they allowed you on Thanksgiving Day to break away from your own family festivities.
It's my pleasure to do this and to be able to put something out meaningful from both of you and be able to share that on Thanksgiving, worldwide. I'm seeing people responding from Sweden, from Australia, it's
amazing.
It's a wide reach, and to be able to put this kind of message out, especially on Thanksgiving, is absolutely fantastic.
It is. The world is full of wonderful, wonderful souls.
Yes.
And the thing that I so appreciate about the paranormal field is that it seems to attract so many people. I often open my lectures with a variation on the line, the happiest people I know are obsessed with death.
Yes.
But it's not that they're obsessed with death.
No.
They're actually, Tony, come back.
Oh, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Okay.
It's just like all men.
I know. Love them and leave them.
I know.
God. It's not being there he is.
There.
He's so handsome. Okay. Just stay on the damn thing. it's it's our search for the afterlife.
Yes.
Our belief that there is something beyond our mortal existence.
More. Yep.
And because of the experiences that we've had in the field, and Tony experiences I know that you and your team have had in the field, there's no question in my mind about this. This isn't make-believe.
No.
This is real, and it is true, and it is pure, and it is lovely, and it brings comfort. And if we can do anything with this broadcast tonight, it is to bring comfort to those that do have an empty seat at the table today, and to know, just invoke their name, invoke their memory, say a prayer, include them in the meal.
Yes.
Include because they are present. Absolutely. They're in another realm.
Yes.
I don't know, Tony, personally, if you've had any profound losses in your life that make you feel as well that you need to leave that seat empty as we do. Even if it's metaphorically.
Right, exactly.
But, I want you to have this opportunity to share your feelings about it too. And there's a particular reason for it. I think that most men who are paranormal investigators are very pragmatic and very, it's all cut and dried. And, can this be proved or can that be proved? But you're the exception to the rule. You're a very sensitive man, and you allow yourself to feel and to express your feelings. And I would like you to do that thing you do so well, because it almost implicitly gives other men permission to do the same. So please take a few minutes, however long you want, and express whatever you want about whoever you miss.
Well, I definitely have experienced losses. First one was a younger brother, and I was maybe 7. Lost him to cancer. But, I wish I had known then what I know now, having spent the last 11 years researching the paranormal. That would have probably helped. Although I remember in college, he actually showed up in a dream, and I will never forget that as long as I live. We had an incident when we were kids that I colored on the wooden bedroom floor with crayons, and I blamed him for it. And that guilt never left me. But he showed up when I was in college, and he forgave me and thanked me. And it was an absolutely moving experience that, changed my life going forward. But if I had the information I have now about researching the paranormal, your loved ones are right there. And in fact, especially on a day like Thanksgiving, I guarantee you they're right in your house with you and your other family members. Again, COVID's restricted some of that from occurring, but they're still around, and they are there. They keep an eye on you. They watch over you. And like you said, it's not a matter for me anymore trying to decide whether that's reality or it is a reality, and it portrays itself and establishes itself each day stronger and stronger and stronger. Once you open that door, the experiences just keep coming. And the stuff we've experienced in the last 2 or 3 years, mind-blowing about what has occurred. And I can't wait to find out what's going to continue to occur and what else we're going to learn, because for every question asked, for every answer given, there's 100 more questions that come to mind behind it. So
yes.
Totally.
It's so ironic that our spirit loved ones can easily interact with us. They don't have to mask up. They don't have to remain socially distant. They can, they can be with us in a much safer way than our living counterparts here on Earth on this plane of action at this time. And I think that it's incumbent upon us. I mean, that's why Thanksgiving at almost every Thanksgiving table, it begins with a prayer, and I couldn't make it through the prayer today.
I know you could, but it
without
was a beautiful,
crying,
it was a
but
beautiful
it was
prayer.
yeah,
it was a beautiful.
No, and we had a Jewish rabbi
with
us.
We had like 3 totally unique prayers, and it was really awesome.
It was like traveling the whole world of prayerdom. You know, at one very socially distanced dinner with just a few people. And we'd like to thank our friend Josie for hosting. What a cook. Oh my God.
What a cook.
Yeah, she's amazing. And it was just a very few people, and everybody was masked up, and you know, we all kept our distance, and yet
it was
felt
weird.
so close.
But it was
so tender and sweet, and we were so careful about each other and making sure that we kept our distance. But with spirit, you don't have to keep your distance.
Not at all.
No, there is no distance.
No.
And I think that's like the most important lesson. I think that I hope that people that do research in this field or work in this field and have experiences are comforted by the knowledge that they gain by having these encounters. Whether it's through a REM pod or what are those gadgets you call? What are they called? You know, I can't touch them. I short circuit everything.
Oh my God. Yeah, you can't. You cannot bring equipment around her ever. Yeah, it doesn't matter. REM pods, K2s, EDIs, it doesn't matter. They all just start going wild. Just throw them away.
I know.
Yeah. We have to go with our main.
Well, I have like this reverse polarity thing, and I will suck a battery dry so fast that it's like it never existed.
I will never forget being in the May Stringer house. I think we were in Jessie May's bedroom.
Yeah.
I just had to give up on equipment. It was like, okay, we're not using this.
we can't. Just not.
We can't.
But Tony, don't you think that? Well, you know, you've got an awesome group, and you know, we talked about this one time too about, you know, the very best piece of equipment that any of us bring to any investigation is ourselves.
It is yourself. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
When you can have a personal experience, I mean, there is no piece of equipment out there that can even come close to it. Now, it's great when you can have that personal experience and you can have a piece of equipment or 2 or 3 help verify
validate it, right,
and validate it, correct. But there is nothing more moving or more truth be told about what happened than when it is a personal paranormal experience. And we just love those when they occur.
We do. And, you know, it's funny because Annie and I were talking about this just yesterday, about how, you know, sometimes being in the field and when you've been in it for a long time and then a lot of people know who you are, people will say, like, you'll get the naysayers. And they say, well, you know, what can you show me to prove to me that this is real? What can you let me listen to? What can you, and you know, we both agreed, like, there's not one thing. There's not one thing I can tell you. There's not one thing I can show you, because honest to God, until that moment that you have that personal experience, once you have it, you don't question it again. And until you do, there's nothing I can show you to make you change your mind.
That is so true. And that took a little time to learn. And we gave up 8-9 years ago trying to convince anybody. People are on different paths. They're going down different roads. They're looking to experience and learn different things. And for some, the afterlife and paranormal's not in their road or their path. And trying to convince someone who's down a different path, like you said, is never going to happen. So you're wasting your time, you're wasting your energy doing that. And there's, you know, like we always say, we're not here to convince anyone
or persuade anyone of anything.
Nope.
Yeah, we're only here to show you what we've captured. And if you have interest in it and want to learn more, we'll be happy to explain it, tell you how it's done. But if you're not, that's fine too. We don't make any decisions there one way or another. Everybody's on their own path. But there's some amazing stuff been captured all over the boards, all over the world by different investigators. And it's always fun when you're interested in it and you research the paranormal to be able to share those experiences, and especially when they're tied to personal experiences of others investigators. That's a wonderful experience for everyone discussing it, because you can share what you felt. They may have an experience that's similar. And, the great part about it is that the end result of, regardless of what it was, are all very similar, which tells you this isn't based on culture, religion, or anything in between. There are some real truths that flow through the paranormal. And, it'd be great to get a larger audience to be able to see that.
Yeah, they are immutable, like immutable laws of the universe. They do not change. And to me, I mean, I've known since the age of 12, when I saw my first full body apparition, that there is something on the other side. But when I first saw that apparition, I was on the other side with him.
Right.
Because it was the first time, I think it was the first time that I jumped dimensions, walking into that farmhouse as an owner, of part of the family of the owners. And he looked absolutely as solid to me as you do.
Yeah.
Like, and I even greeted him.
Right.
And then he didn't respond to me, and I was a little embarrassed at that moment. Like, you know what? Because I'm a kid. You won't talk to me because I'm a kid. And he looked right through me like I was the ghost. And he was just fixated on Mr. Kenyon, who was, packing up to leave the house. And I mean, I've thought about that. I'm 62. That was 50 years ago. I can't tell you how much I've thought about that moment. That first moment when I had that realization that not only aren't we alone in the universe, that our loved ones and that there is spirit, that what my mother always said, oh, great spirit, was real on some level. But it brought me a sense of comfort and peace.
Absolutely.
Because I was always searching, even from a very young age. And I was afraid that it really was ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And that there was nothing to go on, no spirit, no soul, no consciousness that would carry on. And so, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Why are you spying on us?
What are you doing? I don't trust him.
I don't either.
My father is nothing but trouble. He's nothing but trouble. And, so I don't know why people, I don't understand why some people object to the notion. Why they're afraid that we're telling the truth.
I know.
Because to me, I can't think of anything more comforting or better to know that all the loving and the living and the crying and the feeling and the, all the raw human emotion and everything that we absorb, all the music, all the literature, all the poetry, all the film, all the artwork, all the everything that is part of the human experience is suddenly lost when we die. And that's one of the things that, coming full circle, one of the things that I so appreciated about Doc was his willingness to discuss what it is like when he is in the presence of someone who is passing away, and how he could see their aura, and how he could see. I mean, what a gift for a physician, an ER physician to have, to be able to confirm.
And he said, and he said he used to try to give them comfort as they were passing,
knowing because they were often so afraid.
And he wanted them to know that, like, you're still gonna be around, And
that's fantastic. And you're absolutely right. I mean, to me, there's nothing more comforting than knowing that life goes on. It's not in the same shape or form, but life goes on. And that, to me, is about as fascinating and exciting thought. And to be able to truly know that, like you said, people think it and people hear it and may think about it, but to literally know that by having done paranormal investigation for over the last decade, when you get answers from people that aren't in the room or anywhere near the building, and I mean, you can continue to support the fact that this is happening. And, that to me is the most comforting idea and experience to know that, okay, life doesn't end when it ends here. It changes, but it does not end. And that means it didn't end for any of the people that passed before me either. They're still here. That's just a holy goodness of thought that life goes on.
And I think the older we get, not that we're getting older.
Oh, hell yeah, we are.
But I think the older we get, even the more comforting that becomes, because
each day we get closer to our end, and none of us ever know
which day that is coming. Right. But to have that like in your suitcase, I guess I would say, like in your little suitcase, to have that knowledge and that feeling, it makes it so much less scary or foreboding. It's just a journey. It's just
my mother said she has no fear of death because of living at the farmhouse.
I bet.
She said that in the 10 years that we lived there, that she learned everything that she needed to know about life and death and the afterlife, and that death is a transitional thing. Yes. It's not an end. It's just the beginning of the next chapter.
The next phase. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that to me just can't be beat. I mean, that is, it anchors the soul. It anchors your purpose for, what you're trying to achieve while you're here. And it also helps direct you down the right path, because it doesn't end here. It's not dust to dust. And what you learn now and here, you're going to take with you, or come back and redo it, or whatever the case may be, however that unfolds. Right. But that's why it's so important to do the right things here, now, today, to be able to allow your soul to grow.
Yeah.
Well, it's, I think it's a very important message to impart. Yeah. And I think it's a loving message to impart. I don't want people to be afraid of what we're sharing, or afraid to search for themselves, to investigate, to reach out, to, and it doesn't need to be a scientific query. It can be a very deeply emotional experience. And one of the things that I've done for years, and I know that you do as well, is when people reach out to us and they're so devastated and so sad because of someone they've lost, and they say to us in one way or another, how do I contact them? How do I reach out to them? And it's so simple.
So simple.
Just talk to them. Just do it. Yeah. Just talk to them. They will give you a sign that is unmistakably them. Yeah. That they will do something. I had a man call me from upstate New York probably 10 years ago, and he had lost his father suddenly, and they were best friends. They were best friends. And he was so devastated, and I called him right away. I barely knew him. I had done, he had a radio show that I had done. And I called him right away, and we talked, and I just let him weep. And I told him, I said, you need to talk to your dad. What did you do with your dad? And he said, well, he would come over every Sunday, and we would sit and have a beer at the kitchen table and watch some sports thing, whatever, together, depending on the season. He said, but he was a huge Phillies fan. And I said, okay, so then what you do is you put a couple of beers out at the table and you leave a place for him. And then you bring them to the coffee table and you put the TV on and you sit there and watch the Phillies play.
Absolutely.
And so he did that. And he said that the closet door in his parlor, that there was a light in there that had inexplicably failed the day that his father passed away. And that no matter what he did to replace the bulb or the fixture or everything, that closet light no longer worked. And he was sitting there watching the Phillies game with his father. and that light came on in the closet, and it was like, months and months later. And then he got so shaken up that he went out and he jumped in his car, and he was going to go see a family member to tell them what had happened. And he looked, something told him to turn and look into the back seat, and his father's Philly cap that had Italian colors. It didn't have the actual Phillies colors. It was a specially made cap that was in their, Italian. You would know, you are so. And it said Phillies, but it had the red and the green, and it wasn't the Phillies colors. And there it was sitting on the back seat of his car, and no one knew where that cap was after his father had passed away.
Wow.
And he called me back, and I mean, the man was hyperventilating. He couldn't even barely get the story out. It meant so much to him, and it was the most healing, most confirming, most life-affirming experience that he had ever had. And he said that his incredible grief began to subside that day.
Yeah. And that is just the most amazing things about personal experiences, is that they are so personal that you can't dismiss it. I mean, it is something that, like you said, with the light, he worked on it for how long, trying to get it to function. It didn't. Then the cap, which no one had seen, that shows up. I mean, again, it's his personal experience, but that is what takes when you have one that you're just like, okay, there's no way I'm not going to know that this happened and who did it, because of the reaction, the intense emotion that's attached to it. And that's what makes them so incredible.
Yeah. It altered his trajectory in life. It pulled him out of a remorse and a despair that he had never known in his life. And it saved him. A paranormal experience saved him. And I've had my, I never thought I would ever stop crying after April. It was just waterworks constantly. And you went through the same thing. You did. And then, having that first contact with her, and it was on the Queen Mary. Right. It was on the Queen Mary. It's like I could breathe again. I could breathe again because I knew she was there, and she was too crippled in her spine to be able to travel with me to do these events. And she wanted to travel. She wanted to go. She couldn't go to the premiere of The Conjuring. She stayed with my mother instead. And the rest of my family went out. And, I felt like she missed out on so much. She doesn't miss out on anything now, anymore.
Now she can do everything.
She's everywhere, omnipresent, dare I say, like God.
Yes, I know.
No, and I have often said that, I don't espouse any particular religion, but I do have a very deep philosophical and spiritual belief that there is a divine presence. There is an infinite intelligence, a prime creator. There is something so benevolent, so pure and loving in the universe and we are each a living, breathing manifestation of that God consciousness on this plane of action. It's the way it sees its own creation through our own eyes, and the way that we interact with each other. And we had a very special day today.
We did. We had a
and
great
it was so wonderful. And we just wanted to take this opportunity tonight, to thank you, Tony, and thank your family for parting with you for an hour on this very special day.
My pleasure, and this was so worth it.
Well, and I was just thinking when you said that about April, of how now she can actually be with you, and now she can do all the things
that she could not do in life.
Exactly. Well, and look at Doc. Okay, so first of all, he worked way too much, so he couldn't always go. And then, what did he always end up doing most of the places we went to? Sleeping. Well, now he has so much more energy, and he can come everywhere.
Yep. Yep. He can tip a table into your lap.
He can. And that was crazy. And I showed that to Annie last night because
she showed me the
Oh my
video,
God.
and I've never been one to like table
Me
tipping.
either.
You know, I was always
Me
like,
either.
it's all the energy
what's all
around
that?
the table, and it
Wow.
can't really. Well, I saw a video last night that changed my mind about that.
I mean, my friends Marie and Earl, they used to travel with us all the time, and one of the places that was kind of our special place was in Brooksville at the May Stringer, and we ended up there about a month ago, and they had bought a table at a thrift store, so I said, sure, let's try it. That'll be fun, and we got it.
Even we're skeptical about.
We are. We're
things.
so and plus, I always say to people, I love to use my dowsing rods. But I am so
you're so energetic that you have to wonder
so
if it's your own energy that's causing the
And I always tell people that anytime you're using any piece of equipment that you have physical control over, you have to be very careful with your results because you just don't know if you're in any way affecting that. So, did I put a lot of stock in the table? No, because I, like you, was like, well, hey, if there's enough people around that table that have like this psychic energy and then obviously they can do. We know the power of the mind. We know the power. So, how do we know it's spirit? And so we were at the May Stringer, and we had just eaten, and it was a bad choice. Okay, it always is. We had just eaten Taco Bell. Not a good choice. It's never, but it's all that's open sometimes when you're investigating.
Nobody that owns a franchise of Taco Bell is watching this.
I'm sorry.
We're gonna boatload of crap from that.
It's just, let's just say it's not the best thing to eat at like 1 or 2 in the morning. Okay, I don't know. So
or 1
anyway,
or 2 in the afternoon,
So, and Doc loved Taco Bell. So there's my plug. Doc loved Taco Bell. So we had a little thing of mild sauce, which is what Doc, the little package, and that's what he always asked for. So when we sat around the table, there was only 3 of us. We left a space for where Doc's hands would be, and we put the little packet of mild sauce there. And we said, we told him, this is where, you are. And I was not really prepared for.
I wasn't prepared.
I told you. I was like, you have to see this because, we did a whole session, and of course we didn't think to turn on a camera. Because who thinks to do that? So, and it was a really active session. And then we kind of looked at each other like, wow.
We should have really filmed this.
Yeah, that would have been good if we had filmed
it. It was the experimental
stage. Yeah. So then we turned the camera on and thought, what always happens? You turn the camera on and then nothing. So we were like, well, let's turn the camera on, see if we can get that to happen again. And since nobody was actually on the camera, like the video footage wasn't perfect, but you could still clearly see what was happening, and the fact that there were only 3 of us on the table, and as soon as, because in the beginning, in the first session, we had no idea what or who we were what we were connecting with, and I just assumed it was a spirit from the home, and it took a little while.
Stringer House is very active,
has plenty of spirits, so it took a little while, and then I started asking, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, it's Doc. And so by the second session, we just kind of started throwing caution to the wind to just see, okay, how powerful is this? And so as we were on the table, Earl, being the only man, just decided, well, maybe I'll just leave the table. So he just took his hands off the table and walked away, and then actually took the camera so he could actually see what was going on and film better. And Marie and I were thinking, I don't know if we could do this by ourselves, but sure enough, that table started to move and like all over the place. And when we started to make comments about things that Doc would have laughed about, that Doc would have had connection to, it moved more.
Wow.
And then Marie decides she's going to take her hands off the table. And I was the only person on that table, and that table was moving.
Wow.
And then I took my right hand off the table because that's my dominant hand, because I kept thinking, am I doing something to cause this? So I took my right hand off the table, and the table was tipping into my lap when I had nothing on the table except my weakest finger of my left hand.
Wow.
And a little package of mild
sauce.
That's incredible. I mean to be able to have people get up from the table, have it continue for you to remove an entire hand from it
Yeah.
and only be touching it with a finger or two and then having tip. I mean, that's incredible. But you're right. Had you had the camera going in the beginning, it probably wouldn't have, because let's face it, spirits know when they're being filmed. We've had them respond to us many times with that EVP. They're filming. Watch out, they're filming. That's an incredible story, though.
It was crazy.
Incredible.
Yeah. So we've had a really great visit.
We have had a great
and we're
visit.
Not done yet.
No, we're not.
I've got her for a whole nother night, and I'll make you French toast in the morning, honey. I make killer French toast.
Oh my God.
I'm French.
I know. We talked about that today. We have almost exactly the same kind of the whole history of our ancestry, except for the fact that the part of me that's Italian is the part of her that's French.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
We also have English, Irish, Scottish, American Indian.
Yeah. German. Yeah.
We have the same stuff.
We got the same stuff.
You know, because everything is one thing, because
That's
we're
right.
soul sisters, because our connection is immediate and pure and wonderful.
And we knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and that's exactly what I was going to say. That when you guys first met, that's why you connected so strongly.
Yeah.
And
there was this energy between us, and it was just kind of like we weren't even looking at each other at the time. It was just like when you're walking by someone, and then it was like there was this energy, and then we both kind of looked into each other's eyes.
Stopped.
Yeah, we just stopped.
Like turned to each other.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
I feel something here. There's
what's this?
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
So this is our Thanksgiving special.
Yeah.
Tony, thank you for joining us tonight for this.
You're very welcome. It was an honor and a pleasure to be here.
It's been a wonderful evening, and we're not done. We're not done partying yet.
No.
There's ice cream sandwiches in the fridge.
We brought home dessert.
Oh my God, the food! Oh my God, what we brought home! It is, and Tabetta here.
Tabetta.
What's to say? I am so thankful for this little puppy and the joy. I mean,
but you know what? That little puppy's so thankful for you.
I know. I told the universe I don't want another dog, and the universe laughed and said, "No, you need."
Because that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard when we lose them.
So Terri and Buttercup and Papa Perron and I want to wish all of you the very happiest Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
And
and April and Doc and
all
of
our dearly departed loved ones who are just around the corner, just an eyelash flip away from us. Reach out and wish them a happy Thanksgiving as well, because they know what day it is.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you all. Have a lovely night. And we'll see you next week. Same time. Same YouTube channel. Thanks. Good night, everyone.